All right, my lovely Scorpios, what is going on for y'all in the month of June? What are some themes and obstacles we can look out for? Scorpios, I can't with y'all. Okay. All right. Okay. Y'all got a lot of good things kind of going on, or a lot of new cycles starting up on one end. Okay. So what I'm seeing is on one aspect, or towards the beginning of the month, I'm feeling is like, or you know what, I don't even know if I can give a timeline on this one, because I kind of am getting like, it could play out differently for many different Scorpios. Every different sign is different. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go, but I don't know why for some reason I did feel like maybe this was towards the beginning of the month, or like something like that. You were working on a journey, or you're working on a journey towards the individual and being yourself, and it's kind of left you with a lot of confidence, a lot of ego. You're feeling good. You learned a lot about yourself through this journey, or you're gonna learn a lot about yourself in this journey, but it can make you a little bit stubborn. It can make you butt heads with other people this month, so just be aware of that. But this is something that you wanted for a long time, this growth in your individuality, this growth in who you truly are, and being able to learn and experience things and go through all those things like a child and a baby through these experiences. You're gonna learn a lot. You know, Scorpio is a sign of depth, also I guess death and inheritance, but depth and liking to dig deep and seeing beyond what's there. So, you know, y'all wanted to dig deep into yourself, and you know, you're coming out a new person this month. And I think we have, you know, then we have all these new moons, right, on the other end. Like literally, I have new moon in Libra, new moon in Scorpio, new moon in Cancer, new moon in Gemini. So what I'll tell you here is this is telling me, we have a lot of new people. Maybe you're trying to move in with your romantic partner because we have a new romantic cycle begins. There's some changes going on in the home, in the community. These are all cards very closely tied to community, home, and partnerships. And these are relationships where maybe you haven't had the best of luck. I think maybe you're trying to move in with your partner, or you're trying to introduce your partner to your community and your family in some way. Maternal figures especially you're concerned about here with that Cancer. But you're afraid of maybe how they're going to receive them. You're a little bit paranoid about that. Maybe we have worked through your affairs here for a reason. You're very paranoid about bringing them into your community. Maybe it could be either you're afraid of how the family's going to take them, or how they're going to take, I think, your family, your community. Maybe it's a little bit different. Maybe y'all have very different cultures and communities you grew up in. But Scorpio likes depth. Scorpio likes to dig deep. So this is a challenge for you. And Scorpio likes challenge. Scorpio likes perseverance. Bringing two cultures together, bringing two groups together that maybe don't necessarily, you wouldn't always see eye to eye, or for whatever reason you're afraid of introducing your partner. Maybe your family is against dating a certain race. Maybe your family is against dating a certain gender, or whatever it may be. I don't know if it's going to come out as bad as you think it is, because then I have, you know, new moon in Cancer, you and your loved ones are safe. So ultimately your base home and your foundations are still protected. Communication is key here with this new moon in Gemini. I think looking past just words, and for Scorpio this is easy, looking past just what words are on the surface and digging deep and decoding that language is going to help figure out, I think maybe the best way to approach this is going to help you kind of figure out how people truly feel. Maybe you will introduce them, but you're having a tough time figuring out, does my mom like this guy? Does my partner like my mom? Like, you know, listening to the language and decoding the language is the key. Again, you don't want to be decoding into something where there is no double meaning, but I think as Scorpio, you got to find that balance of like, when are you being paranoid and fearful, and when do you need to actually think like, okay, maybe they're just not communicating what they're really feeling. Use your intuition, trust your gut, and trust that individual growth you have here. I think maybe that's why this individual growth was necessary, is so that you can become more confident in trusting your intuition and your gut, and figuring out when is my time to dig deep and when is my time to accept things at face value. So I think that's the balance here for Scorpio, is like, and even with Gemini representing the idea of duality, Libra representing the idea of balance with the scales, is like you have to know when, you have to have a balance of both. You can't just always be decoding. You can't always just be like thinking of all these scenarios in your head and like based on, you know, past maybe issues with mom and maternal figures and community, you're using that past to trigger your fears and paranoias into here. And for Scorpio, working through the fears and paranoias and just being brave, strong, and true to yourself is very important, I think. So, you know, working through those fears and not letting them get in your way, and trust that, like, I do see a lot of good things. There's, like, a lot of clean slate. So from the past, whatever you think is going to have influence on maybe bringing your partner to meet them, I don't think it's going to have as much influence as you think. I think it's more making it up in your head. And if you are having difficulties figuring out where it is everybody stands, do they like your partner? Does your partner like them? Focus on the language and know when you're digging too deep and you're looking for excuses versus when your intuition is kind of telling you that. And again, that is why that I think this fiery climax, all this stuff is coming up, because maybe there can be some butting heads, I think, because maybe somebody doesn't like your partner in the community or in your home. Maybe your partner didn't feel rubbed the right way by certain people. Keep calm, keep relaxed, because this is just a new phase and there's time to build upon what's being presented this month. there's room to build upon. We have all this new moon. We don't have full moon. It's not like there's the end of it. Just because things don't go that great this month, it doesn't mean there isn't a room for your partner and your community and your mom to maybe all get along later on in the future. You're starting it off right now. You have to go in with a clean slate, go in with a clean mind. Don't go in with all those fears and paranoia I know you have, Scorpio. So let's see. Intuition. What I told you guys, you need to connect to your intuition. You need to trust your intuition. Deep breathing. These are all deep cards of connection. And then we have read. So maybe reading some books, and I think learning, of course, that goes hand in hand with our full moon in Aries here. So reading, learning, educating yourself in some type of way. Maybe reading books on introducing partners to the family, vice versa. Reading books or stories where characters have similar experiences to you could be very helpful. You know, through reading, we learn a lot. Even if it's not real, maybe it's fiction, we can gain a lot. We gain a lot for our intuition. We gain a lot for our subconscious mind. So reading is going to feed you a lot. Even with Gemini here, is like that intellect coming into play here. So I think focusing with things intellectually can help keep that balance that you guys are looking for, where, you know, the balance between intellect and intuition, a little bit of knowing like, okay, maybe my intuition is telling me it's a time to push back, but then my mind is saying, hey, I know I've been hot and kind of like in my own head a little bit these days with this full moon in Aries. Maybe it's not the best time. So finding that balance between push and pull, and the best way to do that when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're not sure what to do, when you're feeling the push and pull between intellect and intuition, or mind and intuition, deep breathing, and through that you will get the messages that you need. Through that you will get the signs that you need, Scorpio, and you'll be able to move forward. So I think you're stressing it a lot, and I feel like you're putting more negativity on it than even needs to be there. Yes, things can go a little bit rough this month, or maybe y'all have already met and it has already been rough, but I think there's room for new, there's room for growth, and there's room for change in here. That's why we have all this new moon energy. You and your loved ones are protected, and your romantic cycle begins. Give it a chance, give it some time, and, you know, if you're having issues figuring out how people feel, kind of trust your intuition on the words that they're saying. Maybe everybody's like, yeah, we liked him, but maybe they didn't, and maybe there's something you can do to make sure that everybody gets along, or maybe it's something your partner does culturally that's a little bit different than your culture. You know, just having those important, deep conversations are so important in any relationship, but especially for you guys, that is something, because maybe this is a newer partner, or this is the first time you're bringing your partner around your family and community. It can be very tough. Or if you are somebody who wasn't in a relationship, I would also say that this cycle is just all about that personal growth you did, and now you're a different person. So, you know, your family, your community, you're a different person to them, and that could even be a new relationship in and of itself. Now they have to get to know you, and you have to get to know them, and how you guys are going to work on this relationship, I think, through this new person that you've become. But just be aware with that full moon in Aries, it can get fiery, you can get hot-headed. But also there can be a lot of passion, so that can be fun to play around with too. So those are our monthly horoscopes for our beautiful Scorpios. I hope y'all enjoyed these messages. Comment down below if they resonated with you. You can feel free to book personal oracle readings, a Vedic birth chart reading, by clicking the link down below for my Etsy shop. Read the item descriptions on those to find out more. Your Vedic birth chart is all about your sun, moon, and rising signs if you're familiar with your Western chart, but they may just be different because of the calculations that are a little bit more accurate, so they're a little bit different in Vedic and Western. Some things may stay the same, some things may be different, but either way, read the item description if that is something you're interested in booking with me. I'll put that link for that below, and you can also follow me on Instagram, where I do lives weekly pretty much, where I go live on the weekend. I do free card readings, I do live sales, I talk about anything dealing with astrology, card readings, any questions you guys have that you want answered. So feel free to check me out there and follow me to show some support. All right, Scorpios, I hope the rest of your month is lovely and amazing, and good luck on that journey of bringing your partners home, okay?